Each week at this time we do something called a community moment where we welcome, it's kind of a chance to kind of benefit from the wisdom of the experiences and ideas and knowledge that's in this room, in this crowd. And if you'd like to sign up, please get with me. We'd love to have you, like to hear your voice too. It's a chance to maybe talk about a life experience you want to share, an idea you've been wrestling with, maybe a great book you've read and want to talk about. It lasts 10 minutes or less, so it's not a big gig, but it's a great way to practice your public speaking chops. So would love to have you do that. If you want to do that, please let me know. Today we have a veteran community moment presenter. She is a member of the board of directors of Houston Oasis. She is leading up the team that is planning the upcoming Oasis Network Summit in Denver. Give a warm welcome to Verena Kallhoff.
That's okay, I can tippy toe. Oh, I just pulled it down. Good morning, everybody. Surprisingly, I am not going to be talking about either the summit or fundraising. I know it's surprising, but I think we'll be okay. Okay, keeping and findings, finding and keeping serenity is something that at least I do on a daily, if not hourly basis. This is one of the more serene times out on the ocean front in, somewhere in Florida. I snuck away for a couple hours on a business trip, so that was fun. This is my brain, 150 miles an hour. If you've ever been on the Autobahn, 150 miles an hour is pretty much how it goes. However, what my brain doesn't do is it doesn't go in a straight line. It's more like this. It is herding cats at 150 miles an hour on the Autobahn. The things that I'm obviously always been trying to do is, kind of keeping my serenity, staying sane while everything is going on, rather than starting with one thing, then finishing 3 things in between while still not having finished thing number 1. It gets fairly distracting, both at work as well as around the house. This was the cruise that I took earlier in February. I do try to sneak in as much serene time as I can, but then something pops up and I don't notice it initially. Work gets a little stressful, family, friends, personal things happen, and environmental factors that are well beyond my control totally obscure what I love to look at. Just the water, just serenity. So the way I deal with it is meditation. I know that's not the thing for everybody, and that's okay. This is what I do. And keep in mind, I am speaking to this meditation and neurology, neurobiology are not my area of expertise. So I am essentially talking as an Oasian, as a community member more than anything else. However, I would not be myself if I didn't throw in some data. Looking at the benefits of meditation. If you take a look at this graph, this is pretty much what scientists get out of a lot of their experiments. In this particular study, and the link is on the bottom, this is actually one of the papers that is publicly accessible. They looked at the decline of gray matter as a person ages. All of our gray matter declines, whether we believe it or not, it does decline with age. However, when they did gender and age matched meditators versus non-meditators, people who had been meditating for 4 or more years were in the meditator group, and complete non-meditators in the other group. They showed that the decline of gray matter was statistically significant different in meditators, i.e. the gray matter declined slower. Now, as you can see, this is a scatter plot. There is data all over the place. It is illegal to deal with a completely homogeneous human population. Not only illegal, it is also impossible because because our genetic, there's so much genetic variability and we can't really control everybody's environment. When I studied mice, they were all in a cage, they were all inbred, there was not a whole lot of variability. But when you were looking at humans, that is what you get. You get a scatter plot, you do statistical analyses, while to the normal person maybe that doesn't seem like there's a lot of significance. But when you do the statistical analysis on it, there is a difference. Now, but that is also the reason why you don't just rely on one study, right? When I dug a little bit further into the literature, it does keep there's been evidence that it does keep the brain from wandering. I know that is, at least in personal experience, something that it does to me. There's some evidence that it decreases depression, anxiety, and pain. This is part of the meta-analysis, where they went through, I think eventually ended up with 47 different studies that they analyzed, but the methodology varies between the different studies, and so when you do the meta-analysis, there's some variability, and so they could only say there's some evidence of it. It is associated with changes in electrical function of the brain as well as differences in imaging studies. Now, one of the things that I often do, especially when I'm dealing with data and with claims that are more along the complementary health side, I go to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health website. It is a center of the National Institutes of Health. So they look at a lot of the actual clinical studies that have been done. They verify the data. So when I hear things like, turmeric is the greatest anti-inflammatory or antioxidant or whatnot, I go to them and I type in, hey, tell me what you know about turmeric, and they'll tell me, not a whole lot of evidence. But again, this is science. Science develops. There's more studies appearing, and they will evaluate them so that I don't actually have to go in and read and evaluate 150 studies. For me, finding serenity and keeping serenity has something to do with meditation now. Late last year, it was December 15th, I came home. I had a pretty tough day at work, a lot of work, didn't eat a whole lot, worked out an hour in the morning and then an hour again after work. Came home, had a glass, I don't even know what it was anymore, of alcohol anyway. About 45 minutes later, I couldn't breathe. My heart was racing, I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea, am I having a heart attack? I was contemplating to call 911 just to be on the safe side, but I ended up not. It was the longest 2.5 minutes of my life, I tell you. Not being able to breathe, I have none of the predispositions for a heart attack, so I figured, chances were slim. It's probably just anxiety or something else. I know that if I get there, and after 2.5 minutes, it kind of subsided. I locked the door back up so that people could just walk in. Put my phone down. Wasn't quite sure where I was headed, and experienced a number of more anxiety attacks over the next 3 weeks until I finally was able to get in with a PCP. And the reason I got in with a PCP is, despite the fact that I love meditation and I know it helps me, I needed to be sure that there was nothing clinically going on with me. So, meditation, a lot of the yoga, and a lot of these other things, it is not a substitute for seeking medical advice. For me, it helps. For me, it helps to just sit down 5 to 7 minutes in the morning, pull up my phone, do the breathe out, center myself, and just kind of get ready for the day. Now, this may or may not be it for you, but whatever you do, be on the safe side of things. And may serenity be with you.